I remember one time we were knocking doors, and we knocked on this one house, and I remember, the guy answered the door, and he said, "Oh, I was baptized in your church." And so he invited us in, and we went up, and I saw that he had a few Bibles open, and he's a pretty religious person. But we talked to him. He wasn't super interested. We didn't really have the Spirit with us at that time, I don't think. Not that we were doing anything wrong, but just the meeting didn't go very well. So we didn't go back to his home. A few months later, we were trying to find inactive members to reactivate, especially priesthood holders. We're trying to help reactivate priesthood holders. And so we had a big list, and we were walking through the streets trying to find these people, and we couldn't find any of them. And I remember looking at my list, and it had been a long day. We hadn't found anybody. We felt like we were wasting time because we weren't finding new investigators. But I looked up, and I was standing right in front of his house, this same guy. And I remembered that he was a member of the church and that he never actually received the priesthood. And so we said, well, maybe we should meet with him and see if he'd be interested in coming back and getting reactivated in the priesthood. And so we knocked on his door, and he remembered us and was kind of upset that we hadn't been back to visit him. And so we went in, and we started talking to him, and we really kind of started from the beginning with him, and took the time to really teach him this time. And he was very interested, and he thought it was weird that we wanted to go pick him up for church. He's like, I can go to church, but we stopped by and we picked him up anyways, and he was completely ready and came, and he said, from now on, I'll just come when I want to come. You don't need to stop by for me. So we kept teaching him, and I had this really strong feeling. His family, they weren't members, and usually you say, well, we want to teach your family too, but I had this strong feeling not to ask to teach his family. So we kept teaching him, and eventually we invited him to accept the priesthood. And he'd been coming to church, and he said that he didn't feel ready because he was visiting these other churches. And he was really searching for truth. I mean, he was going to probably 3 or 4 churches every Sunday, just looking. He's probably the only one on my mission that I saw that had gone to that much church, And so he said, well, we appreciate, that you're trying to be very honest about it, but we'd like to keep teaching. We really would like you to have the priesthood, and we know that it's from God, and that He wants this for you too. And so he said, okay. And he was very questionative of the Spirit, because he'd been to other churches where they, kind of flail on the ground and call it the Spirit or whatever they do. And so I just told him, I remember telling him, look, when you feel the Spirit testifying that this is the true church, you'll know it. You'll know it's the Spirit. I don't know how else to describe it, but you'll just know it when it happens. So we kept teaching him, and one day he called and he said, I really want you to teach my family, and I want to get the priesthood. And so we started teaching his family, and and he got the priesthood, and ended up baptizing his whole family, baptized his sister, baptized his nephew, baptized his neighbors, with the priesthood that he got. And so it just was a huge lesson to me on the power of the priesthood and converting one person, because that person, when they're truly converted, will use their priesthood power to bless the lives of others. And he did. He actually just passed away last year from cancer. And it just was really cool as I got that letter from his family, just to think back on the good that he was able to do in just a few years. So that was a really cool experience. Probably one of the most powerful experiences of my life was getting to know Victor Gonzalez, and getting to know his family, and still in contact with his wife and his daughter, and some people there that he was able to convert. So that's a cool story from my mission.